Amit Kumar from Urbana STEM in Maryland. Welcome to the Anatomy and Clay Learning System podcast, and welcome to four amazing students as well.
Thank you. Thanks for inviting us. Appreciate it.
Yeah, we will get to the students here in just a few brief minutes, but in order to set this conversation up a little bit, because not only is we as we get to know every school and we talk to individual schools, each school is a little different, but Urbana STEM is really a different model than we've talked to here on the podcast. So Amit, if you could just start off by telling us about Urbana STEM, where are you located and how did
Mhm.
this get started?
Okay. So Aarna STEM is a non-profit organization in Frederick, Maryland. It's run by parents and volunteers, so there is no paid teacher in this program. And it was started by me. I am a scientist at National Cancer Institute, and I was in a conference, AACR conference, Asian Cancer Research Conference, and I saw the AIC display. And it was more for the medical students, but I was thinking like, how can we incorporate this thing to our high schoolers and middle schoolers? Because earlier they start, better it is. So I talked to the agent and then I came back, I talked to the parents and parents were very excited about this program. So the model of Urbana STEM is that like, we started with the math program, but we try to incorporate anything which is more hands-on, which can engage students better. So anatomy in play, robotics, hands-on math, hands-on chemistry. So this is basically trying to bring the kids together because in the COVID time, there was more isolation. Kids were isolated from each other, and that is still going on. And a lot of time, this becomes a mental health issue. And we are learning a lot about, kids in silos with their phone, with their this, and having those issues. So our model is to somehow do the activities where kids have to be present in physically present with each other and do this. And we thought that this is a great program because you are learning anatomy, but you are making it. So it's a kind of craft, art, science, math, everything. So that's
Yeah,
how we started this. Yeah,
yeah. So if I get it correctly, this program is supplementary to what's happening in the school.
that's right.
And
So yeah, so two things. First thing is a lot of things are not taught in the school in the middle school level. So our program is to provide the kids an opportunity also to learn the advanced things which are not done in the school at the early stages. For example, in middle school. So any kid who is interested in learning advanced, we try to cater them. So this is not following the school curriculum, and this is not curriculum based. This is the activity based. We find the things, we do like 6 to 8 weeks activity, and that's done actually.
are you in communication with the local schools, or do you talk to them about what you're doing, or is it just you're just doing your own thing?
So we are trying to our Frederick County school system, school board, and we have talked about robotics. We have talked about anatomy in play, and we want a school board to bring this program in the whole county-wide school system. But there is a challenge, right? Challenge is first is the availability of the teachers, then material, and then funding. So we don't want to wait for the school to do these things. So we want to do this and bring this to the leaders. So they come to our programs, like school board has come to our program. They have looked at the program. Uh, and I think it is the parents who see the value and then they go back to school board or PTA or some organizations say that, we need the support at the, like, school or county level. We have partnered with YMCA, so they can provide us a space, they can provide some funds, so we can sustain. So this is kind of growing slowly, and I feel like, people are liking this program. And in this community, like, a lot of people are interested in STEM because, like, it's a kind of future, right? So,
Yeah,
so we are
yeah,
kind of getting a lot of interest from the community. Yeah.
yeah. So most people know STEM, science, technology, engineering, math. In your case, you added a second M for
Yeah.
mindfulness. Who wants to tell us why you added the second M?
I can talk about it.
Okay,
Um,
great. Yeah.
so
And why don't
basically,
you just quickly introduce yourself, Arna?
okay, my name is Aarna. I am a ninth grade student at Urbana High School, and I've been involved in USTEM for over 3 years. Um,
Great. Thank you.
so basically, in USTEM, the M stands for mindfulness, and it basically involves staying united and considering not just our own individual achievements, but more of like a group, like the group and the community's achievements. We like to work together and uplift society as a whole. And some of the activities that we do in our society and community include Recycle My Battery. We do multiple food drives a year. We do community cleanings, book drives, and we've had a community garden where we donated our produce to those in need. And another thing that we like to do in Youth STEM is that we celebrate all of our participants' birthdays. So that gives more of like a sense of like community. And we have handwritten cards from the other students for everyone's birthdays. And in all of our like Sunday math classes, volunteers give like treats and snacks to the students that come. So it's a very like community type of thing, and it's like a close-knit community.
That's great. Terrific. Is this something you kind of discuss when students join Urbana STEM in terms of emphasizing what that second M stands for?
Yeah, we like to tell
Yeah,
them that it's all
yeah,
like a joint effort and not just about us individually.
yeah, that's great. How many students total at Urbana STEM?
There are around like 350 students, roughly.
Wow. So you have 350 students at Urbana STEM. Yeah, wow. And that's nine through 10th, 9th through 12th grade?
So,
It is,
sorry if I can.
Yeah.
So what we do is like we have the elementary and middle schoolers, and we have high schoolers. But
Oh, great.
our high schoolers are mostly the student mentors, teachers. So we have no adult who is teaching in the class. So I bring the high schoolers. We have 22 high schoolers who teaches like elementary and middle schoolers. So in a year time, like we train about 200 engage about 200 250 kids in a year time, and it's a kind of cycling because most of the high schoolers they stay with the program 1 year 2 year and then they graduate. So the one who are in our middle school program, we train them to start leading. So it's a kind of chain where middle schoolers are first start and then we train them to lead and continue the cycle.
That's great. Wow. So what does a typical day look like for Urbana STEM students?
so every semester, USTEM will collaborate with the YMCA to create workshops for robotics, and this can also include like scratch coding. And recently, we had a workshop for anatomy and clay this spring. USTEM also is partnered with Recycle My Battery, which is a nonprofit organization that helps with the sustainability of the environment. There are Recycle My Battery booths around our community and in many other places like the school, the library, YMCA, and this helps spread awareness about recycling batteries to help the environment. Some of us will go to these specific locations and talk about the organization and how to help save the environment as well.
So are the hours for Urbana STEM, are they set hours or how does that work and integrate with the school, your regular school day?
So, see if I can answer that. So, our program is mostly weekend based. Like it's
Okay,
mostly is on the weekends, right? Because
gotcha.
students are free. So most of the activities are on weekend, Saturday and Sunday. But some of the activities we have started at after school, like when the kids come out of the school 4 or 5 o'clock, they can spend an hour and a half. So we have some Zoom classes also. So in that way, like volunteers who are available can teach the students in the group, and that teaching could be chemistry, math, biology, anything. But it is mostly like not during the weekday time. It's mostly after school and weekend.
Great, great. And just before I get to the next question, just want to say, Rhea, what grade are you in?
Oh, so hello, my name is Rhea. I'm in ninth grade, and I've been in USTEM for over 4 years.
Okay. And Hamsini, we did not get a little introduction from you.
Hello, my name is Hamsini, and I've also been in USTEM for over 4 years.
Okay, great. And while we're at it, let's just introduce our fourth student, Ritika.
Hello, my name is Ritika. I'm in ninth grade at Urbana High School, and I've been in this program for over 4 years.
Excellent. Well, you all seem so poised. You feel like seniors to me, I'm just going to say. So very poised and articulate. Um, who can tell us how you've been incorporating anatomy and clay in your classes and workshops? How does that work?
Well, we first started like the anatomy and clay program in July 2023, and then we worked through the material provided by AIC and built like the model ourselves. And then in around December, we had a workshop in the library where we talked about the anatomy of the heart and how blood flows through the heart. And we let the students build their own heart model out of clay. And we also did the same thing um, in in the YMCA in the spring, where we had a couple classes where we used the anatomy and clay material, and we let the students build their own. We let the students build their build organs from the anatomy and clay.
Great. Could I just ask each of you, what was your reaction to when you first saw the anatomy and clay system? What did you think of it? Did you think this looks fun or interesting or scary or maybe you
So
start with Ritika, maybe.
My reaction to the anatomy and clay model was definitely like, I was really interested in the topic because I want to go into medicine when I'm older. So the anatomy and clay learning system really helped me like discover new interests in like STEM. And then I had fun building organs like the heart, and it was a great hands-on experience for me.
Great. How about Rhea?
When I first saw the like involved when I first got involved with anatomy and clay, I was like, what is this? Like I literally I was like I was kind of like scared of it at some point, but while we were working through the classes, I realized that I really like the cardiovascular system, like especially the heart and like everything about the heart. So that's how I really decided my career. And yeah,
So what is your career? What are you shooting for?
I'm shooting for something related to cardiology. So yeah,
Nice.
it really
Excellent.
sparked my interest.
That's fantastic. How about Arna?
yeah, so I thought it was like really cool in the beginning how we could like actually have a hands-on experience instead of like using like a normal textbook approach. And I think like as we started building it, it was so cool to like see the whole body and like how that's like inside of us. And it was really cool. Yeah. And again, it like sparked my interest in like medicine and STEM fields. So yeah.
Excellent. Excellent. Hamsini?
When I first heard about the program, I found it really like fascinating, like how you can learn about an organ and then build it onto a model. So I was very excited to do it and like teach others about it as well. And it
Yeah,
sparked my interest in medicine as well.
that's great. Wow. Well, can each of you, and this is fantastic, maybe we'll go in reverse order. We'll start with Hamsini and go back. Why do you think it works so well as a learning tool? Why is hands-on learning so important, Hamsini?
I think when like students learn like the organ and then like build it, they like understand what the organ is instead of just like reading it on like a textbook or something and like trying to visualize it in their head. It like helps them retain knowledge when they're building the organ on the model.
Yeah, great. How about Arna?
Yeah, I think it's like a much more like it's like a unique learning experience and it's different. And the main thing is that you can like build it and see exactly like Hamsini said how it works. And I personally for myself, I think that I'm more of like a visual learner. So seeing something like seeing something is more helpful than reading about it. And I think that was like the main thing with this program that we got to see it, make it, and again, it was a really hands-on approach.
Anything else to add to that, Rhea?
Yeah, so I think hands-on learning is important because even relating to me, like hands-on learning, like you can, as Hamsini said, you can retain the information more faster. And like when you like work hands-on, right, you really like it gives like the element of fun because you're actually building, you're making it, right? And usually when something is fun, you tend to remember it more. And when you have like the hands-on learning, you can remember those specific events more basically. That kind of helps with why it's so important.
That's great. Are you a hands-on learner too, Ritika? I imagine you are.
Yeah, I actually really love like modeling with clay. It's one of my interests. So when we came to know about this program, I liked learning about the different organs and everything by building them rather than studying them like traditionally like on a textbook.
Yeah, great. This next question isn't on the list, but I think you'll be able to handle it just fine. Obviously you will. I'm just wondering if going through the process of learning anatomy, did it give you any more, oh, I guess I call it self-awareness in terms of just your physical self, and just being more conscientious about it? Maybe start with Ritika this time, and we'll go back the other way.
Actually, yeah, learning about this model like for the first time, like I realized how much I actually know from like the cardiovascular system and all these different organ systems. I learned how they work and how they function together like in the body. And also it was really fun like modeling with the clay and then having different colors to talk about like the bones, the muscles, the organs. It was a really like eye-opening process for me.
Yeah, that's great. Rhea?
There's so many different processes that are going on throughout the body. I was like, I was like actually like overwhelmed, like how much, like how much things are going on, like behind the scenes. And it really, I did not know most of this. So it kind of like, you know, like I kind of like slowly understood that there was many other things like with anatomy. And yeah.
I Yeah, I love that phrase behind the scenes. I've never heard it described that way. We take it for granted, don't we? Yeah, we
Yeah.
just tend to move through the world and not appreciate what our systems are doing. Yeah, yeah. Um, Arna, any thoughts?
Yeah, I thought it was really, really cool. And it was like, again, it was like an eye opener because every time we learned about a certain like organ or muscle, we like tried actually demonstrating. Like when we learned about like the rotary cuff, we like lifted our shoulders and it was really cool how like so much goes into such a tiny process that we take for granted. And it shows like that there's a lot more into things than we like normally think about. And it's really cool.
Yeah, great. Hamsini?
Um, I personally found it really like fascinating how much it takes to like shrug your shoulder or like anything like that. Like for me, I do dance it and it takes a lot of muscles like after like learning about every muscle in like your leg, it like showed me how much it takes just to like move your leg from one place to another.
Yeah. Wow, that's great. So give me, if you can, tell me, when you go to teach, give me an idea what that looks like. Just walk me through that. How did you learn to teach? How did you go about that process of getting in front of other students and walking them through um, the information? Maybe is there somebody prepared to start on that question, or should we just go around?
Yeah. So,
Okay. Okay.
oh,
Yeah.
so basically, so like a day in learning about the anatomy and clay like in the YMCA. So we first got all of our information right through like learning about all the systems, and we learned that through the anatomy and clay program and with the help of some of the USTEM parents as well. And then we used those same ideas and topics, but then we thought we had a middle school audience, right? So we had to make it fun and more better so that they could actually like grasp it. And also like with the importance of hands-on, right? So we decided to make clay, which was also provided by Anatomy and Clay, so that it gives a three-dimensional visual of how the systems are supposed to look like, which helps the students be able to visualize how each part is supposed to look like.
Maria, how many students will you have when you're teaching? How does that, how big a class?
So usually there was about 6 to 7 students that were in our class, and
And their ages? What
they
age?
were they were mostly like middle schoolers. There were a
Okay.
few yeah, there was more of middle schoolers.
Yeah. And how did they take to it?
So they actually were very thrilled by building. Most of them were like very, very jumpy and excited. They literally wanted to take the clay home. They were so excited to like learn all the different parts as well.
So if I
Great.
add a few things here, so we are
Sure.
basically limited by the number of models we have,
Sure.
and we want to give a very good experience. So we don't want to take more than 6 or 8. We have right now 3 models we bought, and that's a lot of money for us doing a volunteer
Yes.
work. We don't charge any kid any money. So we are trying to see, like, in future if we can charge people for some of the classes. But what I have heard from YMCA teen director, that they are really excited about this program, and they bought one model themselves for us,
Ah,
basically because we cannot afford it. And they said, like, if we keep doing this program continuously, they may support us. So they may buy one more model, and number of students is not the limit. It is how many volunteers we have. We don't want to have more than one volunteer per 2 student, because we want to have it's just not a class like, I mean, it's a more hands-on. So we have always one volunteer with 2 kids, 3 kids maximum. So whenever they need help, there is somebody to help, versus one person going around and telling 50 people. That's not efficient in my opinion. So any program we do, we try to have that ratio 2 to 3 students per volunteer. So that's why we limit the number, but we are providing such a good quality, and that's what we want the parents to see it and feel it, and then they go out and talk about it to the county official board members to bring this to the school system.
right. Right.
But any support from AI, like we got some free clay from Heidi, so that's helpful because clay is the main part, right? Kids take home because when they build it, they don't want to leave it.
Yeah. Yeah. I was wondering, Ritika, could you talk a little bit about your teaching experience and what do you get out of it as a teacher?
Well, I feel like we've hosted a lot of workshops for anatomy and clay in like the YMCA and Urbana Regional Library, and we've taught kids grades 5th to 7th. They show great passion for anatomy and the human body, which makes me happy because it makes me feel like more compelled to learn. Also, like while teaching them, I became more confident at like public speaking, and I could connect more with them because we shared similar interests. And they really enjoyed like the fun hands-on experiences we provided, and they had fun obviously building organs like the heart.
Yeah, that's great. Hamsini, why do you think it's important to teach? And here you are in 9th grade. You could just say, "Hey, I'm just going to learn. I'm not ready to teach." But why is it important to teach?
I think it gives us public speaking skills, like Ritika said, and it also helps us retain the knowledge better because we're like, after learning it ourselves, we teach it to other people. So, like, we can explain it in more depth. Like, if a student has a question we can't answer, we can we can study about that question and like know we can learn even more about what we're teaching. And I feel like the students also would really like anatomy and clay.
Fantastic. Aarna, what about you? Maybe is there some little story or something that comes to mind? Maybe an anecdote from one time when you were teaching or something was
Um,
kind of surprised you?
Well, I mean, I personally just really like teaching because I feel like it goes beyond like teaching because I think it's a really like important life skill to be able to explain a concept to someone. And so it helps with our communication skills, confidence, leadership for all of us. And we also just understand the information we're teaching more. And my favorite parts of it is like probably like connecting with the students. Like we form like friendships and relationships, and it's not like it's very fulfilling personally. And I think like a bunch of the kids in our like latest workshop, they were very excited about it, and it was really fun to talk to them. And a bunch of them were talking to me personally about how they were learning similar concepts at school and about how our classes were helping them like already know what was going to happen in school. So that was really nice that we could like actually help them and have an impact in their lives.
Wow. You know, Amit, I'm gonna say, forget about my comparison to them being seniors in high school. I think they're actually college level is what I think in terms of their articulate poise and everything. Wow, I'm so impressed with this group.
No,
Um,
I'm glad that, these kids come forward and learning. I mean, this is really high level skills which they are learning. And as I said, like, when I saw anatomy the first time, I was so excited. I want to learn all the muscles, but I'm too old to remember all the names. So I said, these are my kids who can better remember and go out in the community and teach. I cannot teach because I cannot remember all the names. And also, I think we are adding little bit, we are planning to add little physiology with the anatomy, and which is something we are looking for the resources because, yeah, we have this structure, but if we add little bit physiology with like digestive system, right? And then we have some material, what does it do, right? Now we know it's a mouth, it's a stomach, it is. So little bit physiology concept would be helpful with the nervous system, with the digestive system, with the brain. That is something we want to build upon. Like so middle schoolers who are already learning anatomy, what else we can give them? Other thing I was thinking is like go in more detail for these students, like different joints, right? Right now they are just learning basic and overview, right? Then go in more detail and see how complex joints work, which is very fascinating. And I'm planning to buy one or two system for just hands or elbow or knee uh, in future. And that could be standalone one-time workshop because we have a lot of opportunity to just do one class because people are not able to commit to the whole program, right? So we can go to library and say, okay, these 3 Saturdays we will do some activity. And library likes to do teen activity, but they want to do not the teaching activity, like teaching is year-long teaching. But this way, like, small system, small things, kids can get interested into it. So that's my next, goal to kind of start doing that.
Yep. Wow. Just quickly, as we start to kind of wrap up here, I'm wondering if each of you students could just talk a little bit about how this whole Urbana STEM experience is helping you in your other classes at Urbana. You're all at Urbana High School? Yeah. So does it help you kind of think about how you're learning and how you're studying, and has the whole Urbana STEM process experience helped you in your other classes as well? And maybe we'll start with Rhea.
Okay, so we have a lot of classes, right? So like not just with teaching, I also, since I was a part of USTEM for a very long time, I was in like many of the classes, like the math classes, the science classes, the English classes. I was in all of those, and I used all of that knowledge for all my school classes as well. When it came to teaching, there was me and Ritika, we taught a spelling grammar class, and through USTEM, and we basically learned all the grammar rules, and then we were able to get more better at them as we were able to teach them. And usually when you teach a topic, you basically meant that you kind of mastered that because you're able to go and teach to others, right? And through USTEM, I was able to do better in a lot of my classes as well.
Great. Let's see, Arna.
Well, USTEM for me was like a really positive experience because I joined in like sixth grade, and that was like during COVID. And I also just recently moved to the Urbana community. I used to live like in a different place in Maryland before that. And so I didn't know many people around here, and also it was virtual. And as a sixth grader, that was like hard to like make friends.
Yeah.
So,
Whoa.
yeah, so it was like a really good like community bonding experience. I met a lot of people from here. And one of the main things that I still remember is I took a math class in Urbana STEM in sixth grade, and we were learning like a hard math concept. And then I think in like eighth grade, we had that same math concept at school, and it was so easy for me. And I remember making a lot of like connections with a bunch of the teachers who used to be high schoolers. And it's like it was a really good networking experience and also like a learning experience. So
That's great. Hamsini, what are your thoughts?
For me, I thought like the math classes that we learned were really helpful for school. One of the teachers gave us like divisibility tricks. So like 111 is divisible by 3 because it has because all the numbers equal 3. Something things like that.
I did not. Okay, now I know.
And
That's good.
recently for anatomy and clay, I used like the information given that from anatomy and clay and used that through like one of the clubs I do in school, Science Olympiad. And in Science Olympiad, I do anatomy and physiology. I did anatomy and physiology. And one of the topics was the cardiovascular system. So that really helped me understand the anatomy of the cardiovascular system because for like the competition.
Yeah, yeah. Ritika, are you finding all the experiences in Urbana STEM are helping you with what's over in the high school?
Definitely. I feel like Urbana STEM has helped me find so many friendships that I cherish today. Like some of my closest friends I've met through Urbana STEM. Also, the math classes we did, it really helped me because in high school I'm taking a lot more advanced math courses. So all this training from Urbana STEM really helped me get like good grades and understand the topics easily. And just like Rhea said about the spelling and grammar class, it really helped me become more confident as I talked to the kids. And we also did things like write short narratives and short stories, which I found really interesting. And in high school, in IB English, you have to write more like short stories about like Shakespeare and everything. And this experience from the Urbana STEM class, the vocab and grammar, really helped me in my IB English class as well.
Wow. I don't know. I feel like you among you four, there's probably going to be a number one in the class, and you're probably all going to be within a couple of points of each other. Am I right about that, Amit?
Yeah, yeah. And other
Yeah.
thing which we see is like impact in the community, right? So when they are going these out and doing these things volunteer, right, not charging, that is recognized by our county government, and all of them have got appreciation of certificate from the county government. And for doing this volunteer work, they have been awarded Volunteer Presidential Service Award. So it's not just like teaching, right? Making the impact and going out and doing things. And in the process, they are enhancing their personality too, right? So, and I mean, when you go out, I feel like when you are doing hands-on, like robotics, like chemistry, like anatomy, um, people are more engaged, and that's what we want. And that's why I love this program and investing so much. So they can go to different places on any given week, right? And train more kids. And there is a demand in Frederick County. Frederick County somehow is not like, education wise, I don't see them equivalent to some of the counties in Virginia, nearby county, Virginia, Loudoun County, Montgomery County, Howard County. So they don't have those kind of programs. And when our kids are doing this program, it's more appreciated because it's not there. And anatomy in clay, I don't think any school even has in Maryland. I don't think I talked to Heidi, and I don't think there is any school in Maryland who is teaching anatomy in clay using this model.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
we feel like we are unique, at least in Frederick
Yeah.
County, nobody is there, I know for sure.
Yeah.
But this could be something like which is different, right? Than just normal math
Right.
teaching or science teaching. So this is something
For
different.
sure.
too.
Yeah. For sure. Well, I really appreciate all your time today and all your insights and thoughts. And of course, wish each of you all the best. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast and sharing your experiences, and wish you very well. I think you're all going to be terrific successes in whatever you choose to do. And Amit, thank you so much for helping us pull this together.
Thank you so much, Mark, for the opportunity. All right. Bye bye.
Thank you so much for this opportunity.
Yeah,
Yeah,
thank
and
you for
we
having
can
us.
do another podcast in 6 months or a year to come back and see how they progress.
Yeah, let's plan on that. Okay.
Yeah. Thank
Okay.
you.